What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today the long-awaited conclusion to the perfect PPL series, push-pull legs. Today it's the perfect leg workout.
Whoa. You rang?
No, actually no.
Well, you call perfect leg workout, so you might as well have just said, hey Jesse.
Oh, is that what we're calling you now?
Oh yeah, you know why? Because not only do I have very impressive legs, I also am an advanced powerlifter, but that's for another video. And not only that, I'm wearing my short shorts, which is, they say thigh weight in the danger zone. Short shorts are not something you ever wear.
Well, I've got my uniform, but I'll tell you what. Speaking of shorts, it's a good idea. We actually have the ATHLEAN-X Shorts channel that if you don't know about it already, it's ATHLEAN-X in 60 seconds or less. You're going to want to make sure you subscribe to that. It's also a place where you can see Jeff Cavalier in shorts, right here, like this. So I would argue, Jesse, I might be more qualified than you after looking at that picture.
Maybe, but still.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you a shot.
Yeah?
You want to be in the video?
Hallelujah, I do.
You can shoot the exercises.
Yes. So guys, if you like me doing the workouts, leave your comment below. If you don't like me doing the workouts, leave your hatred below.
Leave the hate below.
Oh, come on.
All right, guys, I'm going to start breaking it down for you here, the perfect leg workout, exercise by exercise. Let's get it started. All right, so let's dive right into it, guys. And if you're new to the perfect PPL series here, the push, pull, and legs, how's this going to all set up? What are you supposed to do day by day? Guys, I've got you covered. As I referenced in both the pull and the push workouts, which, by the way, are going to be linked at the end of this video, we have a specific recommendation on how you structure these workouts. The first is to do it in a sequence of pull, then push, and then legs. And as I mentioned in those videos, you have an option to either do them again right away as 6 continuous days of training with the off day coming always on that 7th day. That's called a synchronous split, but I think you can run into some issues with recovery when the pull and leg workouts run back to back. Or to do what I've been recommending strongly, and that is to put an off day after every 3 days of training. And with what we're doing on this leg day, it's important that we get an extra day of rest, a buffer between this and the subsequent pull day. Now in regards to how this leg workout relates to the other perfect leg workout we have on this channel, these are not interchangeable. That was part of our one-off series for guys that are following more of a bro split with less frequency, a longer time to get through each of those muscle groups with more volume built in for that purpose. Here, again, it's relating to the other workouts that we're doing in this PPL split. So make sure that when you do this, you're following this version of the leg workout. All right, so let's start breaking down this workout exercise by exercise so you know exactly what you have to do. And as all these workouts here in this PPL split, we're looking for hypertrophy as our main goal, but it doesn't change the fact that the #1 exercise that you should expect to see here, and you will see here, is the barbell squat. And we're going to perform this as 4 sets of 4 to 6. Now you're going to leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank. However, we still want to focus here on progressively increasing our strength in the exercise. What that means is choosing a weight and adapting that weight as necessary to ensure that you fall within that 4 to 6 rep range, reserving those last couple reps. If you need to, if you start to see that you're getting up into 7 or 8 or 9 rep range, you're going to need to add weight in subsequent workouts to ensure that you continue to get stronger. We know that even when seeking out hypertrophy, overload and tension overload is a great mechanism for doing that. We then move on to the next exercise, and this here I'm going to use the barbell hip thrust as my choice. Now there are a lot of good options here, namely the barbell RDL. But again, realizing that this is part of an overall split and that we're deadlifting very soon after this, whether you're following the synchronous or asynchronous split, I want to give my lower back a little bit of relief here. So I can do it with the barbell hip thrust. And what we're doing is we're still targeting the posterior chain. We're still trying to develop the hamstrings and glutes and really drive them together, letting the glutes lead the way. But we don't have to do it in a way where we're leaning over and necessarily compromising our low back or fatiguing it more than we have to. We're going for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps here, again, targeting the posterior chain without allowing it to drift a little bit too high into the low back. Which brings us now into the third exercise, and this year I like to go back to the anterior chain with one of my favorite all-time exercises, and it's the dumbbell or barbell reverse lunge. So we do this with a step backwards, and the beauty of the step backwards is it takes some of the anterior shear forces away from the knee. And for people that are either chronically dealing with knee pain or are acutely dealing with some knee pain, this gives everyone the chance to get the benefits of the exercise without any of the negative side effects that you might be experiencing right now with it. Now, the lunge to me is one of the more athletic exercises you can do. We need to get ourselves into that split stance position at some point in our workout if we want to train our legs in a more functional way. You're going to go for 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions each leg. Which brings us to the fourth exercise here in the workout, and this is our first RW. What that means is it's a rotate width. So although there's primarily one version of this workout, this and the next exercise are going to have an exercise that you should rotate every other time you do the workout. So the first time through, you're going to do the dumbbell single leg RDL, and you're going to rotate it the next time with the slick floor bridge curl. But let's talk about the RDL first. I mentioned how much I liked the exercise and how it was a possible candidate for the number 2 spot here, but I wanted to offset some of that load on the low back. Well, this dumbbell single leg version here is a great way to do that without having to forego the exercise entirely. We have the opportunity to lift one leg up behind us as we go down, which helps to keep the low back flat and eases any of the stress that we might have or additional fatigue we might get in that area. And we know that the single leg RDL is a great way to eccentrically train the hamstring and again drive it with the glutes to allow for some additional hypertrophy of these important posterior chain muscles. 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions for each leg. And then we have the slick floor bridge curl, which is one of those devious and sort of downright horrible exercises that does a great job of overloading the glutes and hamstrings and working them together. You simply get on the floor in any environment where you can drag your feet on the floor, so socks on a hardwood floor works great. Get up into that high bridge, allow your legs to eccentrically lengthen, the hamstrings will really start to light up, but don't let the hips drop. Try your best to keep the hips as high as possible by engaging the glutes and then pulling in and doing the hamstring curl. And the beauty here is this is basically a better version of a hamstring curl. We know the hamstring curl can create good hypertrophy in the hamstrings as you're overloading knee flexion. However, this is a closed chain environment with the feet in contact with the floor as opposed to doing this when you're laying face down on a bench, which can sometimes introduce low back problems by overworking the hip flexors into the bench. And then that brings us to our last exercise here. We're going to round out the perfect leg workout with a little bit of calf work. And again, this is another one of those RW or rotate with exercises. You're either going to do the standing dumbbell calf raise or the seated dumbbell calf raise. And the difference here is the position of the knee. With the knee held straight, you're going to be overloading more of the gastroc, and with the knee bent, you're going to be overloading the underlying soleus. Now here you have the option of doing this either 2 legs at a time, or if time allows, I always think people can get a little bit more out of it if they can do it 1 leg at a time. The point is really try to squeeze each and every repetition. Go for the good contraction here. Don't just swing the weight around or bounce up and down. It's when you go for the focused tension that the hypertrophy gains are the best. To round this out, guys, you're doing 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions done on each leg or done simultaneously. How's it feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, my legs are burning.
No, I was talking about actually getting a shot to, shine in front of the YouTube audience.
Oh, I always love being in front of them.
All right, so guys, there you have it, the perfect leg workout. I'm going to put it up here as I always do. Take your screenshots, put it together with the perfect push and pull portions of the PPL split. I'm going to actually link those at the end of this video. Also, if you're looking for step-by-step plans, guys, that include nutrition step-by-step as well, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you like this series, make sure you leave your comments and thumbs up below. What else do you want me to cover? I'll do my best to do that for you. If you haven't done so, make sure you click subscribe, turn on notifications, make sure you head over to that YouTube Shorts channel too, and I'll be back here in just a couple days with another new video.
Hopefully including me.
I'll see you guys soon. Alone.